California keeps ban on affirmative actions. The ban was part of the wider reaction in California during the 1990s against increasing racial and ethnic diversity. Then Governor Pete Wilson attacked affirmative action, claiming that race segregation, even though it benefited underrepresented minorities, would be deemed unfair. Governor Wilson signed an executive order in June 1995, which proceeded to phase out affirmative initiatives. The University of California Regents voted to stop race as a consideration in the approval soon afterward. California's voters then accepted Proposal 209 in 1996 and revised the Constitution of California. It abolished the use of affirmative action by the state government entirely. Ward Connolly, a pioneering black adversary of affirmative action, led this campaign. California votes to continue the state restriction on the consideration of color, ethnicity, and gender in admissions, recruiting, and contracting to a majority of 56.1% to 43.9% this week. But colleges continue to focus on hiring and attracting a diverse student body. They are also led by underrepresented students such as Banjo, who take their time to make their campuses more welcoming for other students like them. While Proposition 16, the bill for the affirmative action referendum, has not succeeded, the work is going to proceed. In contrast with the share of the population of those classes, Black and Latino students are underrepresented at the University of California. Many color students go to college around the country but do not graduate. According to a 2019 Initiative for College Opportunities survey, nearly one-half of the Californians classified as Black, Latino, Native American, and Pacific Islander were left without graduation. It's only 20 of Asian students and 32 of white students compared. During the summer, members of the Presidential Office at the University of California sat with the Pan-African Student Organization about the ways the UC would benefit the black students. They presented a black research grant to finance black student leaders to investigate ways to boost their recruiting and retention in the group. Banjo also said that students plan to address how black graduation rates can be increased and why black students on some campus gain substantially less than white graduates. While black students are compensated for the work as organizers and scholars, we are trying to help shape UC as a model for successful black higher education students. UC spokesman Claire Doan said that the university is interested in the idea of a system-wide black research grant and requested students for a rigorous written plan. We cannot take action until our budget is clearer and we have sufficient funding, she said. The outcomes of Proposition 16, which overturned the 1996 ban on affirmative action, is likely to be a good boost for racial equality activists who wish to see the country's increasing race awareness converted into support for electoral politics. But a careful analysis of how Proposition 16 is drawn up reveals that it may have been condemned by international considerations, ambiguous ballot text, a very short time frame to offer facts to voters, and airwaves occupied by higher-profile topics. In effect, findings from the pre-election focus group show that many voters in California were convinced of the initiative. The public vote requires clear communications to clarify why such action is necessary to be convinced. In other nations, the same is possibly true. Beyond California, 8 other states have banned affirmative measures which ban universities from recognizing their race in university admissions. The prohibitions are not benefiting the population in those countries as affirmative action has proven to play an important role in decreasing ethnic inequalities in the accessibility of underrepresented students to the college, without impacting their success in the college or the results in the job market. The ban has also been shown to limit Black and Hispanic students' graduation and salaries in California. To eliminate all of these restrictions successfully, advocates of affirmative action have to inform and target those electorate subgroups, reconsider the campaigns and potentially more actively reach white citizens. The emphasis on Asian American opposition to affirmative action has been misplaced, as a driving force behind events like the results of the Washington referendum and the high-ranking Harvard University lawsuit for using race in admissions. Washington Asians for Inclusion was called by a group against the Washington referendum, and the Harvard complainants contend that the college's recruitment policies discriminate against Asian American candidates. Yet Proposal 16 survey found Asian voters in the Americas are more likely than white voters in California to favor reintroduction of affirmative action. More specifically, white voters make up 54 more than Asian Americans, who make up only 12 of state voters in California. For this cause, more focus should be paid to white voters. Of course, no discount can be put on important attempts to involve electors of color and the Asian American community, for 43 of Asian American voters said they were unsure about Proposition 16 in September. The California State University system has agreed earlier this year not to compel candidates to accept SAT or ACT, and last week an appeals court decided that the system should avoid taking those tests. Fans believed the revival of affirmative action would serve as a way for ensuring more diversity in student registration without such details regarding high school students. A Campaign for College Opportunity 2019 study found a 17 percentage point difference between the proportion of black students and white who complete the courses required for state entry. Furthermore, within 6 years, 63 of black community college students would not receive a degree or diploma or transfer to a 4-year college. Yet Asian Americans have been separated. Although some advocate measures like this is a tool to promote integration, some contend that they would destroy opportunities for Asian students to attend high schools. The highest proportion of Asian students in the University of California system is now Asian students, representing 30% of the drop in the 2019 entry rate, compared to 24% for white and 4% for black students. The opposition proposed that admissions to colleges should be merit-based and that affirmative action programs are discriminatory inherently. To help people in another color get in, said Tom Campbell, the former doctor of the business school at the University of California at Berkeley, on the opposition blog, because California's public colleges have been able to lock students out of their races. Ward Connolly, a former Unifornia Board of Regents member who headed the campaign to pass the 20th version of 209, said that an abrogation would lead to the country's racial division. Although polling found that the majority of voters in state colleges and universities favored the idea of greater diversity, they were still puzzled by the referendum, which challenged him to abolish a statute introduced almost 25 years earlier. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, like, comment if you haven't already. Meet you with the new video.